Hey guys, it's Ryan here, and I'm bringing you a F1 2012 Hotlap series to the Formula 1 Show's YouTube channel. I am one of the new directors, and I'll be doing this where I'll be going around all 20 circuits, giving my setup a Hotlap and also my braking points as well. But the first one we're going to be doing is Melbourne, Australia. We're in Jenson Button's McLaren Mercedes car as we come down the main straight now, reaching to our maximum speed just before the Qantas sign, as you can see on the screen, as we brake for turns 1 and 2 of Bradman Jones. Keep it into 4th gear, round the exit of turn 2, get a good exit. We're not using any of our curves, as you'll see later in the clip, but we brake at the 100-meter board for turns 3, and then keep it into 3rd gear for turn number 4. And then coming off turn 4, we're going into a quick turn 5. I dropped the DRS off and put it back on again to stop me from spinning. And I was approaching turns 6 and 7. 6 is a 3rd gear corner, 7 is just basically a flat corner, and turn 8 is the same as well. As we're coming towards turn number 9, which is Clark Corner, into 3rd gear, touch the apex of the curb, which I'll see in the braking points reference to the video. Coming down the back straight now, we're going to be reaching our maximum speed yet again, using half our curves as we're approaching turns 11 and 12. We hit the apex of both these corners absolutely perfect. And as you can see, we are up by a 10th on our best time so far. Coming into the last sector then, into Ascari and Stewart corner. Keep it into 3rd gear for Ascari. Put it up to 5th gear for Stewart. Drop it to 4th to get our car stable. Put it back up to 5th towards Prost corner into 2nd gear. Hit the apex of the corner absolutely perfect. And for 16, drop it into 4th, keep it in 4th. And then when we get into a straight line, use the curves and our DRS straight down the finish line. And we get a 23.869. for a hot lap around the Australian track. And now we're going to be going through the setup now for Australia, and I'll be going through the race setup as well. But just to quickly show you that my assists I use no assists, and I run the pad as well, so that's that sorted. But we're going to go now straight to the setup, and the first thing we're going to look at is the aerodynamics. And for this, Australia is a high downforce track with a couple of high and slow speed corners, so you don't want too much wing for this one. But for me, in qualifying terms, I would use 1-1 wing. The reason for this is because you want as much speed as possible, and in qualifying you have a low fuel load as well. So for me personally, I would run 1-1 wing. For the race, I would recommend you would use either 2 or 3 wings, as you can see here. But for me, if you're running a cautious or standard fuel load, I would go for 3 and aggressive 2. For brakes, not for normal 48-52 for me. Pressure's high for everyone. The brake size small if you're using a pad with no assist. Standard if you're using the wheel. The balance. The more you do, the more you push it, the more turning you want, but you obviously lose cornering grip. So for me, I wanted to use a bit of cornering, more cornering, and some turning as well. So for me, I'm going to be running 411 for this one as well. But it really depends on your driving style and how you suit the car. For most wheel users, it's 111. Suspension, this is what you're going to see a lot in this series, as this is probably the best setup to use, suspension to use, and it suits for every circuit in the game as well. Mainly because the fuel, it will save a lot of tyre degradation as well. But if you have it on 1, obviously you'll have a lot of traction. As 11 you don't. Onto the gearbox, and this gearbox is basically the default one that you have at the start, but for gears 2 and 7 I just moved it 1 click to the left for race conditions. The engine, my advice for qualifying, I would run 4 laps of fuel, but if you're risky you can run 3 as well. But my tip would be run cruise for the whole of the lap, your out lap, and then when you come to the final corner you put it up to fast, and then when you've done your lap put it to cruise back down. The alignment is still the same as always from my previous videos that you've seen. It gives you a lot. Cambers all the way to the left will give you more turning, and then the rear will also give you a bit of counter steering. But anyway, we're going to be going on to the braking points now, and the first one we're going to look at is the first corner. And as you can see here, this is at the hot lap that we have just done, but it's going to stop at the point where I'm going to be braking. So for turn 1 I brake just before the 100-meter board, which you can see there, and you drop it to 4th gear, and you touch the apex of the chicane. Use a bit of the Astro if you want, but it's not wise, and that's turn 1. Coming towards the next corner, the next difficult corner is this right-left chicane onto the back straight. Once again, a brake just before the 100-meter board here, and drop it to third. Hit the apex of both these corners, and it wasn't a good exit from me there. But we are now approaching the third most important part of the track. It is the fast left right-hander. And as you can see here, just where the Qantas sign is appearing, I brake just before that, drop it to 6, keep it nice and smooth, hitting both apexes there, and keep it in 6 and deploy your DRS as early as possible. Coming to the final part, it's the last corner. And here you can see just where the green thing is there on the right hand side, it's where my braking reference will be, and drop it into second and touch the apex of the curb, and then we go around here in fourth. But anyway guys, that is the end of the first episode of the Hotlap series for this channel. Make sure you check out next week where we'll be heading to Kuala Lumpur. But anyway guys, wherever you're in the world, have a great day, and I shall see you in the next video. Take care, see you later.